Hello, my name is Jillip Negler. I am the board president of OutReach. Thank you for joining us for our second OutReach Virtual Awards Banquet. Due to the pandemic, we decided to go virtual again, and we couldn't be more grateful to Hinckley Productions for producing our video presentation. And before we begin, I want to make sure that we recognize that we are on sovereign Ho-Chunk territory, often called Teejop. And I want to uplift one of the organizations and brick and mortar shops, the only one owned by Indigenous and queer people in Madison, Gigue. They do a fantastic job of healing arts, community building, tattooing, bodywork. They're amazing, and you should go and visit them online, in person, and community build with Gigue. And I'm grateful that one of our award winners is one of the founding members of Gigue. So we need to recognize and uplift the work that queer and Indigenous people do locally. Thanks to OutReach board member Dana Pelabon for directing our video, and staff member Brian Ponce for his technical support. Thank you to our corporate sponsors, especially our diamond sponsors, UW Health, Unity and Quartz, American Family Insurance, and MG&E. Thanks to the many volunteers, my fellow board members, and the staff members that contribute to our program that you're gonna see shortly. And congratulations to all of our award winners, and more so than the congratulations and recognition, thank you for your community building, your continued dedication to uplifting our community, all the work, thankful and thankless work that you do. Thank you so much for everything that you do to make Madison a welcoming and better place for LGBTQ+ people.
The All of Us research program is an ambitious effort to gather health information from 1 million or more people across the U.S. Researchers will be able to use this information to uncover new, more precise ways to prevent and treat disease and to keep people healthy.
When I came out, I didn't feel comfortable, I didn't feel safe, and that was a very hard place to be.
Coming out as lesbian, gay, bisexual, even now transgender, it was hard to do that. And so because of that, whenever you went in to see a doctor, you were too afraid to really actually say who you are.
The biggest obstacle, to be honest with you, and simply is this trust, right? Trust from the community on not being misgendered, not being mistreated.
The health community, healthcare, they didn't get that. At that time, they felt like everything is one fit. That no matter what happens to one community is going to happen exactly the same thing to the other community. And that's not the case.
The lack of data has been a major problem for a number of years. It's really only been in the last 10 years or so that the big health systems, the surveys that go out to people nationwide, have included any questions about sexual orientation, and only a handful of them have any questions about gender identity.
Oftentimes what happens, particularly within communities that don't feel safe within a medical field, is they'll prolong and they'll wait and they'll say, it'll get better, and then by the time they go to the doctor, it's so late.
My family has had issues like high blood pressure, diabetes, so I'm very mindful of that and really trying to do everything I can to resist that.
One of the things for me that I have to be careful of is, my heart. My mom died at a very young age, at the age of 43, of a heart attack.
What I really appreciate about all of us is really taking this approach to make it inclusive of as many people as we can.
We'll have the information from 1 million people, people of color, LGBT people, people from diverse communities, to tell us about themselves.
To get their biological information into the database so that there's more information to work with when trying to develop new ways of treating people and treating those disease processes.
That's the only way we'll be able to find out and understand whatever that we need to do to take care of ourselves.
That's a call to be honest and open about being LGBT. It's really a much broader call to stand up and be counted, all of us being seen. will give us hope.
Hi everybody, my name is Joey Munich and I'm on the board of OutReach. I am the treasurer. And today I'm really excited to announce the Trans Activist Award. It is a new award created by our program director, Mark Hargrove. This award had the most nominations and was a popular nomination choice among the community. The Trans Activist of the Year is chosen because this person is a great contributor to trans and gender nonconforming folks in the Madison area. Thus, they have created an impact, and there was a tie this year. Congratulations to one of our winners, Nipinet Landsem. Welcome.
Hi, thanks.
Can you tell us a little bit about yourself, how you identify, and where you work?
Yeah, so Tanya Kraege, Nipinet Landsem, Belcourt Ostinia, Michifnia. What I said there was, hello everyone, my name's Nipinet, and I'm from Belcourt, which is the location of the Turtle Mountain Chippewa Reservation in North Dakota. I'm not like from there. I grew up in the Twin Cities, but that's where my family's from. So that's how you like introduce yourself. And I am Michif and Anishinaabe from up there. I use they, them pronouns. I'm non-binary and I consider myself to be two-spirit as well, which is an Indigenous only identity for like, it encompasses a wide range of things, but basically like divorces like colonial expectations of gender from Indigenous individuals. And yeah, I'm a tattoo artist. I work at Giga on Williamson Street.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that and for sharing the language as well. I think that's really beautiful. What has been the most difficult adjustment during the pandemic, and how have you overcome that struggle?
I feel like my pandemic adjustment has been a little different than most people's because we decided to open a business during the pandemic. So like most of the adjustments were just around like, oh, here were our expectations for like opening a business as like a group of like queer majority, like Indigenous individuals in Madison who want to open a tattoo shop and an artist collective. We had a lot of expectations going in that had to be changed very quickly, but I feel like it ended up working out in our favor very well. So yeah, other than that, my biggest adjustment has just been not getting to socialize in the way that I usually would. Yeah. A lot of things have gone online, which has been really nice, and I've been able to like do a lot of like community organizing and like kind of kinship building online instead of in person. Just because since everything is online these days, there's more people looking for that sort of thing online as well. So it's worked out pretty well. I haven't really had a lot of adjustment issues.
Sure, and I suppose because you opened during the pandemic, you started everything with all of those sorts of adjustments in mind.
Yeah. So like we basically just were like, well, we weren't going to do walk-ins anyway because we're appointment only. So like we can sell our retail online. We can do our workshops online. We can do like our like mutual aid organizing online. Like and it works.
That's fantastic. So as a transgender nonconforming person yourself, some young people and adults are going to see this interview and they're going to become more obliged to be their authentic selves and come out. It's really all about representation. What would you say to those who are still struggling with gender identity, and how would you encourage them to find support?
Yeah, well, I guess my main thing that I would say is that regardless of like where you come from and what your gender identity is and like who your family is, what you look like, all of that, there will be a community out there for you. I have noticed that in Madison, a lot of like the queer and trans community here can be very exclusive to a lot of people because it's very white, and Madison's like a very white city. And like I am Indigenous, and I feel like having more visibility for like trans Indigenous people in Madison is kind of like opening that up and like making the community itself a little more welcoming for people who do not fit like the standard idea of like an AFAB, white, skinny, like trans mask, non-binary NB person, you know? Like there's a lot more variety and there's a lot more like options for you than that. And I've talked to several people who have said like, well, I feel like I can't do this because I'm not white, or I can't do this because I'm fat, or I can't do this because I'm not binary trans or something like that. And like, there's always room for you. There's always going to be a community for you. And in order to like find that, I would say looking into spaces online is a great place to start. So yeah. And hopefully in the future, more like in-person visibility can be a thing. I've noticed a lot of like QT BIPOC organizing in Madison happening lately. So I'm hoping that like after the pandemic, that can become more consistent and easier to find for folks who may not fit like the standard.
Yep, normalized and happening all the time and everywhere.
We are out here, we're ready to go, and we're waiting for you.
Yeah. What is the best way for people to learn more about you and your work and your business?
Well, Instagram is a great opportunity. I'm Nipinet on Instagram, and our business is giige.co on Instagram.
How do you spell your business?
giige.co. That's the Instagram at. We do a lot of reposting of like community stuff, mutual aid opportunities, any events that we might be hosting, whether that's online or in person. There was like a very short period of time there where we were like, oh yay, like the pandemic's becoming less of an issue. We can host bead nights or something, but yeah, that's not happening anymore. So, so yeah, we do a lot of like community sharing, and if you have anything that you like, you know, anyone watching this, if you have anything that like needs some more eyes on it, or like you need mutual aid help or anything like that, you can always send that to us as well, and we'll boost it for you. So,
fantastic.
Yeah.
All right, and lastly, is there anything else you'd like to discuss or anyone that you want to thank?
I'd like to thank the other members of my collective, which is Nibiwa Kamikwe and Mark Osler and Bear Cunningham, as well as all of my family and my partner M and my friends. And I'd also like to draw your attention to the efforts of water protectors in northern Minnesota, because even though Line 3 has started operation, the resistance to it is ongoing, and water protectors are going to need a lot of support in the coming months. Enbridge hasn't won, and if you don't know anything about this issue, you can find a lot of information at stopline3.org. They have a lot of just like everything that's going on kind of in like one hub. And so I wanted to plug that just because Line 3 is like the biggest climate disaster facing this particular region, as well as a massive threat to Indigenous sovereignty. Land back. That's my plug.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that. I really look forward to learning more myself. I have friends who are in that fight as well. I'm really, really just so happy and honored to meet you today, and congratulations.
Thank you.
I'm Crystal Cox. I'm cisgender, straight, female. My pronouns are she, her, and hers, and I am the secretary for the board of directors for OutReach. Tanya Kraege is here with me today. Tanya is our 2021 Ally of the Year. Hi.
Hi.
Tanya, being an ally requires so much empathy, patience, compassion, and understanding, and you exhibit all of those features. You work in the field of mental health and have been a dedicated partner with OutReach and our Road Forward program. In addition, you're an ally in the sense of mental health for all, mental health access for all. And you were nominated by Mark Hargrove, our program director for OutReach. Congratulations, Tanya. It's a pleasure to have you.
Thanks. It's humbling.
Good. Good. Just a couple questions for you. Can you tell us a bit about what you do for a living and your background in mental health?
What don't I do these days, right? I am fortunate to work in a field where I feel just so passionate about the people that I get to work alongside, whether that be my colleagues or the people that are struggling in our community. Two of those positions, one is Dane County Crisis. So I work at Journey Mental Health in the crisis unit there. I get to answer the phones for people that are struggling with mental health experiences or experiencing suicidal ideation, or sometimes, many times actually, we also get calls about people struggling with substance use challenges. So that's one of my jobs. The other one, and my primary one, how I came to work more closely with OutReach, was through Safe Communities of Madison-Dane County. So in that position, I am the program manager for the drug poisoning prevention team, which means that I get to head up a team of 18 peer providers that work in various environments throughout Dane County, the jails, the hospitals, diversion courts, marginalized communities, clinic work, and I get to train them. I get to hear about all the success stories of working alongside people who want to get their lives back, and as well as I get to see a lot of the challenges that our community faces.
Yeah, that's wonderful work. Thank you for all that you do. How long have you been involved with OutReach, and what's the road forward?
OutReach involvement has shifted over the last 4.5 years. Previous to that, it was a place that I would always refer people to go to if they needed a safe space to talk about things that they were struggling with and maybe had questions or didn't feel that their family was accepting. So I would oftentimes do, referrals or reach out to people that used to work at OutReach in the past. Over the last 4.5 years, it's shifted into more of a regular partnership with the agency that I work at, Safe Communities, and OutReach. So we get the opportunity to hold meetings there that we had pre-COVID, of course. Things have been wild over the last 18 months. But in addition to that, we've partnered with OutReach on developing, organizing, creating the Pride and Prevention Coalition. That is somewhat gone awry during COVID because the meetings were a challenge to have, but we were over there a lot and really looking at how can we bring prevention into our community for the LGBTQ plus community. So that's not really active at the time. Life got away from us, I think, during COVID, and some other things kind of took precedence in that regard. And then also when COVID isn't happening, we like to have peer providers at OutReach so that people can come and hang out with somebody with lived experience of substance use or mental health challenges through that doorway of OutReach, and feeling like they can come to that safe space of OutReach to meet with somebody and not necessarily have to do the legwork to go to an additional place to get those services.
Sure.
But again, COVID.
Yeah, COVID. So I had the pleasure of working with you in the Road Forward program. Do you want to talk a little bit about your workshops and
Yeah, so I mean, I can't speak to the other two workshops other than I got to meet the wonderful people involved. I'm so grateful to Linda for bringing me on and introducing me to the others that were doing the workshops. Time-wise, it didn't work for me to actually attend them, but they're everything that we need right now. So Restoring Our Lives is looking at how COVID-19 has affected people without housing, job insecurity, food insecurity, and particularly for those marginalized communities and the LGBTQ plus community. And then my workshop was on recovering our mental health. It's been an interesting year. I think COVID really brought about some introspection for people that weren't prepared for it. So if you're thinking about how this affects, people that don't have other struggles previous to COVID-19, it really, really magnified those challenges. So we're seeing more and more people without housing, more and more people with food insecurity. But in addition to that, people that might have been doing well with their mental health or with their substance use experiences, we saw a return to use. Yeah. And then those that maybe weren't questioning, their sexual orientation or other things previous to that were really left alone. They weren't able to always walk into a place where they could feel safe and talk about these things or explore these things. And so there's been an increase in services or requests for services at crisis, but also at safe communities. And I think that continuing to provide those services throughout this pandemic has made a difference, even though it shows up differently, right?
Right.
So there has been no lack of substance use challenges and mental health experiences throughout this pandemic. And so that portion of the workshop that I got to do was really doing a small needs assessment. It would have been nice to have more of a global approach to understanding what the true needs are. Like, what are you experiencing? What is your drinking looking like these days? Do you have questions about that? Do you even understand if you do drink, a few drinks every day consistently for a few months on end, that could mean that it could develop into something more where you're going to need some support, that you're going to need some maybe treatment or connection with others that have been through similar experiences to help you understand that this coping skill has now turned into something a little bit more than just a coping skill.
Right.
So having that knowledge and having the experience of knowing what that's like for a lot of people, I think what we were seeing during the pandemic, and still so, was this trauma response. And people were in this freeze moment the first year, and then 2021 hit, and we're like, oh, we're turning a corner, things might get better. But I think that's when people were like, now it's safe for me to feel. And so then a lot more people were like, oh, I don't know what to do with these feelings. I don't know what to do with these emotions. And I was seeing, an increase in agoraphobia and people not really wanting to socialize as much, didn't know how to socialize. They were afraid to socialize. They still are. I still am. Mm-hmm. I think that it's hard when connecting is so important for people, and you have to learn new ways to connect, or you have to learn to connect in general, because that's going to be the thing that's going to save your butt when you're feeling like you're up a creek. So 2021 has brought about, I think, a few more people being like, okay, this isn't working for me anymore. This day drinking has gotten a little out of hand, or that pill that I started to take the edge off is something that I am now finding myself needing every day. And so the recovering our mental health encompasses the challenges that come along with substance use, but also the challenges of the mental health experiences that we're seeing. We don't know what the future holds. And so people that have histories of maybe not feeling like they were in control before really found that magnified during the pandemic. Because it's another thing that we don't know when this is going to end.
Right.
We don't know what this is going to look like when it ends. And so I can foresee over the next 3 to 5 years that those services are going to be greatly needed, and there are going to be more and more people that are going to need them.
Yeah, definitely. This pandemic doesn't discriminate, right? It's
absolutely not.
Yeah.
No. And I think even more so for communities of color and for the LGBTQ plus community, even more so, because those things were already lacking previous to the pandemic.
Right. We're going to switch gears just a little bit here. Most people say ally and they think, oh, cisgender straight person that loves and supports LGBTQ plus people. But that's not always the case. What does being an ally mean to you, and what are the misconceptions of allyship?
Well, I can't speak to all the misconceptions of allyship completely because I don't think I would do it any justice, and I don't think I could cover every corner of that. I can say that when I was bestowed this great honor, I said to Mark, I said, can I still be an ally when I am a member of the community? And he said, oh, absolutely. So then it kind of pushed me into examining even my own beliefs about what I thought an ally looked like. Because prior to my journey of coming into understanding how I identified in the world, I consider myself to always be an ally of the LGBTQ plus community. But ally is actually an action word. And so it helped me understand that in action, every day I want to show up, and every day, as much as I can, I want to create tables that are longer and that consist of more chairs. And so when people assume that I might not belong to a certain member or a community or be a member of a certain community, that I can still show up and say, what about them? Mm-hmm. And why aren't they at the table? Or why weren't they thought about before you even brought about the problem or the challenge that you were trying to solve? And to me, that's what allyship looks like, is providing a voice when others can't, and using my privilege in order to do that. And examining my own privilege and what that looks like too, even at times where I felt like I didn't have it at all, and really naively and humbly looking at, like, no, this is how I get to use it in spaces and make it make sense. And I think for me, being an ally also means being open to learning about others' struggles and knowing that I don't know everything and I can't know everything, but I want to understand as best as I can, as well as providing a space, providing a safe space for people to be able to talk about things that are big to them.
I think what you touched on a lot of really important things in that answer, and I think, you know, allyship is a journey, not a destination, right? We're all working to become better and learning constantly, unlearning, using our privilege for advocacy and compassion. I think it's really important.
And listening.
Yes.
Listening is so, even if I just provide that space to listen to someone, I think that it helps them realize their voice matters.
Yeah. Giving them a sense of belonging.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
Last question. What are your hopes for LGBTQ plus people, and how would you encourage community members to get involved with advocating for mental health and wellness?
That's a really big ask. I mean, my hope for my community as a white woman who's a lesbian, my hope is that everybody's just seen and they have access to services when they need them, and that they're safe for them. We're lacking all over Wisconsin in safe spaces for LGBTQ plus. I think that people have a misunderstanding too of when a lesbian goes into a treatment center, like where they should be at, where they should be placed at as far as like their cohort. If it's a all female, they just have questions. And should we be placing a female in another room with a female if they're attracted to females? And I'm just like, it shouldn't even be a question. And,
right.
And if you're looking for guidance on how it should show up, then you should be reaching out to the people that it matters to. So I think we have a ways to go. I think we've made some strides, and I think we've opened some doors, but I really don't think there should be any wrong doors. And I think people should examine their policies and practices a little bit more to encompass the safety of the LGBTQ plus community. In jails, in any institutions, if people even have to go to jails, if that's an appropriate place for them, right. In other types of institutional settings, and then in treatment. people who belong to certain members have different challenges than the general population could or would. And we have to be cognizant and open to hearing that and open to changing our curriculums or whatever that is to embrace other communities so that they feel well enough to move forward in their wellness plan. And I think that we need to shift how we view recovery and how we believe recovery should happen, because it's a personal journey and it's different for everyone. And I think that when we place people in boxes, they don't get to flourish in the way that they're intended to.
Yeah.
We need to meet people where they're at and look at self-directed and self-driven. It motivates people in a different way than any power and control dynamic ever could.
Definitely, definitely. Well, you do great work. Thank you for everything that you do for the community and in your work. It's certainly been a pleasure to have you here. Thank you again, and congratulations.
Thank you.
Ally of the Year.
Thank you, OutReach.
So right now, MG&E is offering a couple programs that give people the options to support renewable energy.
Is really about access, to make it easier to incorporate sustainable practices into your everyday life. I'm excited about the opportunity to bring all of these new technologies and programs to everybody in our community.
The place I come from is called Guatemala. We didn't have access to water all day.
Sustainability is not just about the practices themselves, but builds bonds between people.
My name's Crystal Cox. I'm cisgender, straight, female. My pronouns are she, her, and hers, and I am the secretary for the board of directors for OutReach.
Hi, my name is Linda Lenski. My pronouns are she, her, and hers, and I'm the LGBTQ plus AOD advocate for OutReach, and I've been a volunteer at OutReach for over 35 years. I'm going to talk a little bit about the structure of the LGBTQ plus AODA services at the OutReach Community Center. Our primary mission is to provide support and recovery services, including LGBTQ plus AA and Al-Anon meetings to our community members. Often, many community members feel marginalized and not always welcomed in all of the various 12-step meetings that meet across our community, our greater community. So we want to provide a safe space where people can be open about their sexual orientation, how they identify, and can really talk about all aspects of their life. We provide a number of different kinds of programming, including presentations to the community. I recently, along with Ginger Beyer, our transgender advocate, we did a wonderful presentation to the Belleville schools for their in-service day, where we met with over 100 teachers and administrators and the superintendent, and we talked about LGBTQ plus affirming classrooms. It was a great opportunity. So even though my focus is alcohol and other drug addictions, I also do more community outreach to our LGBTQ community. The secondary program that has been most important to me is the Road Forward. I was hired in May of 2020 when the pandemic was really keeping people in their homes, And I was only able to start working just a few hours during the day in the community center or from home. And so I started thinking about how is our community, which is already underserved and marginalized, how are we going to recover from COVID-19 and its impact? So there was an opportunity to apply for a grant with the New Harvest Foundation, and I wrote a grant with the help of Mark Hargrove, our program director, and Steve Starkey, who is our executive director. We sent it to the New Harvest Foundation, and gratefully we were awarded money to provide a series of virtual workshops on the post-pandemic road forward. Crystal, I had the opportunity of recruiting to do one of the workshops. So we had 3 workshops. Each workshop in the series, each topic in the series had 2 separate workshops. The first was kind of to assess the needs of our community, and the second was to provide tools and resources. The first workshop we did was in fact Crystal's, which was restoring our lives, and it covered everything from issues of underemployment, unemployment, financial insecurity, how to find resources for if you were homeless, also food insecurity, all of the basic needs that a community member might need to have in a time when those services are lacking or they don't have the access they need. The second workshop then in that series was to provide tools and resources, and I have to say that Crystal did an excellent job providing that. We did a video of that second workshop, which are available on the Road Forward website. The website is theroadforward.org. The other 2 workshops and topics in the series was recovering our mental health, which dealt with mental health issues, alcohol, and other substance use disorders. And Tanya Kraege, who is receiving an award today, was the second person who was a facilitator. And the third person in the series was Dr. Kathy Oriel, and her topic was protecting our health, where she dealt with providing health to our transgender community, also health services to those who can't afford it, and generally how to access health services if you have any kinds of needs that aren't met by the larger community. One of the things that was terrific about the response to the workshops is that all of us, a research program of the University of Wisconsin, also contributed funds to expand the reach of the program. And then later, the Madison Gas and Electric Foundation also offered us funds to do the second phase of the Road Forward, which we're going to launch later in the fall. And it is called The Road Forward, The Journey Continues. So Crystal, do you want to talk a little bit about what your experience was like as a facilitator for the workshops?
Yeah, well, of course. I, as you mentioned, first learned about the program at one of our board meetings. You and Mark were talking about it, the idea of it at least, and I just couldn't help but raise my hand high and volunteer to help. I mean, this is such an important and timely topic coming out, having been in the pandemic for about a year at that point. What do we do going forward? Mm-hmm. Especially, my piece in the program, as you mentioned, was restoring our lives, which dealt with housing and homelessness, job loss and unemployment, and food insecurity. And we know that members of the LGBTQ plus community struggle with these things, and the pandemic only made it worse. Mm-hmm. So I applauded this effort, this idea, and was really excited to be a part of it. And as you mentioned, we had, 2 workshops in each series, and the first one was learning about kind of that assessment, right? That community assessment. What does the community really need? And I thought that was really important as well. hearing directly from the community, what is it that they need to move forward. So I thought that was extremely valuable for me, first and foremost, to learn about, what's going to be the most helpful thing for me to talk about in the tools and resources segment. So, took that information that we gathered from that first segment, went back and did my own research. I wanted to be extremely prepared. I did not want to waste anybody's time. And wanted to make sure it was comprehensive and really went into not only what the resources are, but how do you access those resources? Right. What are the things you need to be prepared with and prepared for? And as you mentioned also, we recorded the second one with the tools and resources, which I also thought was extremely important. We did it live, but then it was also recorded so folks could access it on the Road Forward website in case they weren't able to attend live. So it's out there, available if folks are still struggling with these things. The pandemic is still very alive and real, and we all need some help, some guidance, and I just thought it was so important that we did this work.
And I want to thank you too, because your workshop has gotten thousands of hits on YouTube, on both our social media outreach sites, in addition to the Road Forward website.
I didn't know that, Linda.
Yeah,
That's
it's gotten tremendous response. So one of the things that our grantors said is that they wanted to be able to distribute it to their networks too, so we could reach the widest group of people possible.
Well, I'm glad I did all the research.
Yes, absolutely.
Good stuff. So, kind of switching gears a little bit here, Linda, what's the history of Al-Anon and what's it like now?
Well, Al-Anon was created by family members of alcoholics who felt that to help themselves was really critical in helping their loved one. I am what they call in 12-step programs a double winner. I'm both a recovering alcoholic for over 35 years and also a member of Al-Anon for over 35 years. And I must admit that the two programs together have really helped make me have a successful life, where there was a time that I was at a turning point where I was at a bottom, that if I hadn't had those programs and gotten that support, I wouldn't be sitting in this chair today. One of the things that it does is both programs, both AA and Al-Anon, cuts through some of the denial that people have about seeking help. And so we encourage people to call OutReach, talk to me. Our number is 608-255-8582, or email me. All of our email addresses and phone numbers are on the OutReach website. We can provide support over the phone, and we hold hybrid meetings, 2 Al-Anon meetings on Tuesday and Friday evenings at 5:30, and a Wednesday AA meeting. And those meetings are hybrid, which basically means you can join us virtually via Zoom or come in person. We already talked a little bit about the future direction of the Road Forward, but I just want to take a second to kind of thank our people who are partners with us, who provided the funds that underwrite our programs. And those again are the New Harvest Foundation, All of Us Research Program, and Madison Gas and Electric. Was there anything that I missed that you want to add?
I don't think so. I mean, I think it's important that people know the resources are out there and available to them if they were unable to join the original sessions. And I think, too, that we're hopeful to offer more resources and more tools and more sessions in the future with the Road Forward. Whether that's virtual or in person, will be seen. But yeah, just look forward to more to come.
Right, and I personally want to thank the OutReach Board of Directors for all of their support for programming, and Crystal, as a member of our Board of Directors, also volunteered and contributed all of her time for the workshop. And I just want to say I had a great time collaborating with you, Crystal, so thank you.
It was wonderful. Thank you.
So stay in touch with us. Reach out at OutReach LGBTQ Community Center. Visit our website or visit the Road Forward website for more information. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
OutReach LGBT Community Center has been providing services for the LGBT community in South Central Wisconsin since 1973. We've helped thousands of people with a whole variety of services, including information referral, a lending library, a speakers bureau, our transgender health program, our alcohol and other drug addiction services, and much more. The LGBT community struggles with discrimination and lack of resources, and OutReach has been there for many, many years providing those services and advocating for our community. Please donate generously this fall and help us to go into 2022 with plenty of resources to continue to carry out our important work.
Well, I know I've got to leave your sugar, but I don't see how I can. You say you wanna make me happy, go back and get another man. The first time that you told me this, you knew my heart was about to crack. But I was giving some guy just a little kiss, and that's when you wanted me back. No thanks to you, I'm doing fine. Everybody has their day, and this one's mine. Well, people come around and tell me, baby, by the way, you won't be true. But I never loved you anyway, so the last laugh is on you. Ha, you couldn't keep me on the sidelines, baby, why I played the film no more. But the thing that you never realized is it was me who was keeping score. You lost the game right down the line. Everybody has their day, and this one's mine. Well, you can beg and you can plead and get down upon your knees. I can say that you were a dirty dog, but that's an insult to the fleas. I've given you about 10 second chances and you blew it at about 11. Now I don't ever want to see your face right here as you ever make it to heaven. Somehow I know you're not that divine. Everybody has their day, this one's mine. This one's mine. Somehow I know you're not that divine. Everybody has their day, and this one's mine. This one's mine. Somehow I know you're not that divine. Everybody has their day. Everybody has their day. This one's mine. Yeah, looks like we made it. Look how far we've come, my baby. Might have took the long way. We knew we'd get there someday. They said, I bet they'll never make it. But just look at us go. We're no, still together, still going strong. You're still the one I run to, the one that I belong to. You're still the one I want for life. You're still the one that I love, the only one I dream of. You're still the one I kiss goodnight. Ain't nothing better. We beat the odds together. I'm glad we didn't listen. Look at what we will be missing. They said, I bet they'll never make it. But just look at us go. We're not still together, still going strong. You're still the one I run to, the one that I belong to. You're still the one I want for life. You're still the one that I love, the only one I dream of. You're still the one I kiss goodnight. Still the one. One I run to, the one that I belong to. You're still the one I want for life. Oh yeah, you're still the one that I love, the only one I dream of. You're still the one I kiss goodnight. So glad we made it. Look how far we've come, my baby. Oh, baby, baby, how was I supposed to know? Something wasn't right here. Oh, baby, baby, I shouldn't have let you go. Now you're out of sight, and show me how you want it to be. Tell me, baby, 'cause I need to know now. Because my loneliness is killing me. I must confess, I still believe when I'm not with you, I lose my mind. Give me a sign. Hit me, baby, one more time. Oh, baby, baby, the reason I breathe is you. Ooh, well, boy, you got me blinded. Oh, pretty baby, there's nothing that I wouldn't do. It's not the way I wanted to be. Tell me, baby, 'cause I need to know now. Because my loneliness is killing me, and I must confess, I still believe when I'm not with you, I lose my mind. Give me a sign. Hit me, baby, I must confess that my loneliness is killing me now. Don't you know I still believe that you will be here and give me a sign. Hit me, baby, one more time. Netta there in the corner stands and she wonders where she is. And it's strange to her, some people seem to have everything. 9 a.m. on the hour hand and she's waiting for the bell. And she's looking real pretty, she's waiting for her clientele. She works hard for the money, so hard for it hard. She works hard for the money, so you better treat her right. She works hard for the money, so hard for it, honey. She works hard for the money, so you better treat her right. 28 years have come and gone, and she's seen a lot of tears. Of the ones who come in, they really seem to need a bed. It's a sacrifice working day to day for little money, just tips for pay. But it's worth it all to hear them say that they care. She works hard for the money, so hard for it high. She works hard for the money, so you better treat her right. She works hard for the money, so hard for it, honey. She works hard for the money, so you better treat her right. Already knows she's in the bad times. Already knows these are the good times. She never say loud, she never will, never a dollar bill. She works hard, so hard. Hard for the money, so you better treat her right. She works hard for the money, so hard for it, honey. Hard for
Hello, my name is Dana Pellebon, and I am an Outreach board member. My pronouns are she, her, and hers, and I identify as a bisexual, pansexual, queer Black woman. Today, we are honored to have Tempestt Ballenger. Tempestt is an out Black lesbian that is a local DJ in Madison, Milwaukee, and more. She goes by DJ Femme Noir and has been DJing for quite some time now. Tempestt has been a dedicated contributor to our virtual Pride event these last 2 years. Nominated by Mark Hargrove, our program director, we are all so proud to have Tempestt Ballenger as our 2021 Advocate of the Year. Congratulations, Tempestt.
Thank you so much.
So, how do you feel about being Outreach's 2021 Advocate of the Year? Were you surprised, anxious, excited?
I was definitely surprised. I feel like, I mean, there's a lot of folks within the Madison community that are, advocates, strong, advocates for so many different causes. So being able to, be nominated and then even just receive this award it's an honor. I'm excited about it. So I thank you guys so much for it.
So you are very well known in the community. Can you tell us what made you decide to participate in our Pride show, and what does Pride mean to you?
I mean, Outreach does so much for LGBT folks within our community and outside, surrounding communities as well. So being able to be a part of something bigger than myself, and again, the very name Outreach, just getting that outreach to other folks. I think that it's important, especially as a queer Black woman, for folks to have that representation. And it's one thing to say it, but it's another thing to see it. So having that representation in Pride is important, and that's why I just enjoy that's why I enjoy being a DJ.
So a lot of people think of advocates as people who are involved in grassroots work, social services, going door to door, participating in lobbying, but there's so much more to being an advocate than just that. What do you think that is, and what does being an advocate mean to you?
I kind of thought the same thing for a long time. But being an advocate is essentially creating space in those spaces that, weren't accessible to us before. But it's also like introducing people to those spaces and, showing them that, hey, you are allowed to be here. You're welcome here. You can be yourself. Come as you are. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Being that advocate is important, and also just simply extending or having the ability to learn as well from others. So, I mean, I can be an advocate, I can be an ally for others as well as advocate for people too.
That's wonderful, thank you. So, how long have you been DJing, and tell us about what goes into doing it?
I tell people I've been DJing since college. I used to have college parties, and I would DJ off of YouTube, I guess you could say. But officially DJing since 2018.
Okay,
so, yeah.
Okay. So how do people get a hold of you to do booking for you, and what things do you have coming up next?
How to get a hold of me for bookings? I have my email, femnoirdj@gmail.com. You can contact me via Instagram or Facebook, also at DJ Femme Noir. And let's see, I'm trying to think, phone call. If you see me out at a venue too, you can definitely, I have cards as well. So thank you, Vistaprint. My next events I have coming up, I will be at Pridetoberfest in Milwaukee on October 8th. Performing right after Jada Essence Hall. So
wow,
yeah.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
It's gonna
and I know that you are everywhere. You're almost like Visa. Tempestt is everywhere that you want to be. What do you have that happens regularly here in Madison?
I'm regularly at 5 nightclub here in Fitchburg, Wisconsin. I'm also a part of Hot Summer Gaze and Dyke Dive.
Nice.
So we have events that usually pop up at least once a month. So make sure you check my social medias for those dates and events and when I'm there.
All right. So is there anything else you'd like to add or talk about? People you'd like to thank?
I definitely like to thank my mom. She's been there for me through it all, especially this past year in a panini pandemic. But my girlfriend, Annmarie, I love you very much. Dana, honestly, like I admire and just adore you, and I love what you do in the community.
Thank you.
And also thank you to Dave Ike at 5 Nightclub for giving me a platform to do what I do and giving me my first chance and my first actual DJ gig. So.
Well, thank you so much, not just for being here, but for everything that you do. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Hi, my name is Jill Nagler. My pronouns are Z, here, and they, them. I'm non-binary, trans, bisexual, pansexual, a lot of the letters of our alphabet, and proudly. And I'm the current board president of OutReach as well as a longtime volunteer. So this year, we have the Trans Activist Award, a new award created by our program director, Mark Hargrove. This award had the most local nominations and was a popular nomination choice among our awesome community. The Trans Activist of the Year is chosen because the person is a great contributor to trans and gender nonconforming, non-binary, queer folks in the Madison area. Thus, they have created an unremarkable impact. There was a tie this year, so congratulations to one of our winners, Mercury Stardust. Welcome! Yay!
Hey there, hi. Good to see you.
Good to see you, longtime close personal friend as well.
Yeah.
So Mercury, can you tell us a little bit about yourself, how you identify, and what you do for work?
Well, my name is Mercury Stardust. My pronouns are she, her, and I'm known as the Trans Handyman. And I am a virtual maintenance technician. And I also ran a weekly burlesque show called 5 Star Teas here in tropical Madison, Wisconsin for a very long time.
and that was, it was live before the pandemic, correct?
Yes,
and
yes.
At 5?
Yep, we spent 3 years every Friday night at 8 p.m. at 5 Nightclub. And that was a very trans-inclusive, very queer-heavy show. In a bar that's known for being very diverse in its own right and doing a lot of things different, we were even more so than that. A lot of trans bodies, a lot of trans POC, a lot of trans black women were on our stages. We celebrated diversity every single week. And it was a really wonderful way to kind of show everyone in town that all bodies are beautiful and all bodies are burlesque bodies. It was a motto of ours. And I translated that mentality into how I do my maintenance work, which seems like weird, like getting naked for strangers and then also, doing maintenance, but being vulnerable with people and knowing that a lot of people feel scared to ask for help. It's the same thing when it comes to our bodies and when it comes to our homes. Like, it's hard for us sometimes to feel like, oh, I want to dance and I want to move and I want to feel comfortable in my own skin, but it can also be really hard for us to be like, well, I have a clog in my toilet and I had no one who ever showed me how to do that. So translating that to my TikTok following has been kind of how everything has been happening for me lately.
Yeah, and that's a great segue into our question about how are you thriving as we are still in the panini? You are a TikTok sensation and you're well known on that platform. Talk about, I'd love to hear more about that as well as the virtual 5-star burlesque shows.
Yes, so I got into TikTok on April 4th of this year because I had a live online virtual burlesque show that we took the old 5-star format and then we put it on an online format, and it was pretty successful. But we were trying to reach a newer audience, so I thought, hey, I'll go on TikTok. I know people have been having success with that. And one of the very first videos I did was teaching someone how to use a ratchet strap. And in the video, I introduced myself as, hey there, hi, my name is Mercury Stardust. I am the intersectional trans maintenance lady. And then that just transformed over a 2-month period into the trans handyman. And then that transformed into like 1.5 million followers on TikTok. And it has like changed my life forever. But it all stems from just wanting to reach more people and help them in a different way. And it just, I don't know. It's been kind of a whirlwind. And now I'm having an opportunity to write my own book and to develop my own TV show. And there's really, really cool things. But all that stemmed from a little tropical Madison, Wisconsin, and a little burlesque show that, you know, we would have 60 to 70 people every week. And that was my little family for the longest time. But who I am and what we've created at a micro level is now being seen for the very first time in a macro level. And it's a little overwhelming.
Really? I can't imagine.
But it's been really good. And the balance is starting to slowly creep back in. And it's nice to see it happen, you know, because it also allows me to elevate other people's voices. Having a large platform isn't just about what it can do for you, but for those around you. And my hope is that with this larger platform, I'm able to make a better space for more people and for people in the industry that's largely dominated by cis, white, heterosexual men. You know, 78% of all the people who work in maintenance are men and white men.
And cisgender men?
And cisgender men. And only 5% of all people who are in the industry are women. So it's a very dominated industry by one demographic. But 89% of all the people who follow me on TikTok are women who are constantly asking me, how do I get started in this industry? How do I make my way in there? And often they're queer women. And it's a really... It's over the top crazy that I might be able to usher in a new wave for a lot of people too. And I also should mention that a lot of humans who are trans and non-binary too are also learning and going into the field for the first time, and how important it is to see representation in traditionally very masculine fields, and how opening a door and taking space in those spaces is really important. Being seen outside of your transness can be very eye-opening for people, especially because a lot of people who follow me for my skill set, right? They don't always follow me for my trans stuff, but you don't get to have...
It's just a bonus.
Yes, you don't get to have me without the political aspect of it, because me as my trans person right here, I have a very deep voice, but I dress very femininely and I act very femininely, but my voice is very deep and very commanding. My very existence is an act of protest in some ways. And I think that because of that, you don't get to separate me from my skills. You have to devour me, all of me or none of me, like a big pie.
Well, that's a pie I will eat. And I love it because it's also creating support networks for women, whether trans or cis, whether non-binary folks, trans men. It's creating that support within the field, which is largely, you know, male-dominated and misogynistic.
Yes.
And so, and it's not enough, as you're saying about politics, it's not enough to just make space. It's this quality of the space that you're making.
Yeah, it's often we're spoken down to in those spaces, and I want us to have more compassion when we're talking to people who might not, what we think is common sense. There's no such thing as common sense.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely not, especially nowadays. And that's a good segue to, we got to talk about it. As a trans person, there are always right-wing political stances that have a great impact on trans people, especially trans youth. Wisconsin Assembly, what words of encouragement would you give trans youth, trans folks who are suffering the brunt of these attacks, or who are working towards more equitable spaces?
Yeah. Take up space. Being loudly us and doing what we do best, whatever that is for us, is the greatest revenge, right? For me specifically, I've been almost forcibly removed sometimes from the maintenance world in Madison. It's very easy to get discouraged by that. But the result has been me thriving in a different medium in a much more public way. And even though I was not nurtured and loved and respected like I think I should have been in this industry in Madison, it does not mean I didn't find an outlet for myself. So I took up space in a much larger way. And I think that if we can find whatever tank we can goldfish in, is going to be the most successful for our community, but also for us as an individual. If we think that we're too marginalized or we're too much of a niche, there is a tank for you somewhere to goldfish in. There's going to be somewhere out there that you can find, be it an online medium, be it a safe space away from those who might think other than you. It is possible for us. We just have to find a space that can nurture us, love us, and let us grow into, wonderful unicorns.
And know that we love you.
Yeah, we love you.
We love you. How can people learn more about your work, and how would one reach out for bookings, or here's your plug?
Yes.
Give your plug.
You can go to mercurystardust.com and you can reach out to me on there. I will answer questions through mercurystardust.com if you go to my Cameo. I also have a Patreon and merchandise on my website as well. I'm doing speaking gigs, and I'm also officiating weddings as well. So if you want a trans handyman to show up and get you married, I can do that. So yeah, there's a lot of ways to contact me, but all of them are right through mercurystardust.com.
Great, got that, mercurystardust.com. All right, and so anything else you'd like to add, people you'd like to thank, anything that you'd like to add to our conversation today?
The biggest person I have to thank is my spouse, Zizi. Zizi.
Love you, Zizi.
Yeah, I love you, Zizi. They mean more to me than anything or anyone in this whole world. Their constant support of me, their constant love of me, putting up with me literally in the hardest moments, but also allowing me to thrive at my most successful. And then another person that means a lot to me is Dave Ike at 5 Nightclub, who was the very first owner of any venue in town, who gave me the most support through money behind my show when no one believed in it. Gave me a weekly spot when it didn't seem like it was super successful, and he allowed me to thrive. And I think about Dave on a daily basis, and I'm so grateful for his friendship and his love, and how he's constantly allowed me and all my weird friends to take up space in his bar. And then thank you to every single person who's ever had an impact on not only my life, but all other trans people, because every single person who was paved forward for one trans person has helped other trans people. And you can never have a conversation about transness if we're not talking about the people who came before us and about how hard it was for them 20 to 30 years ago. And now we are ushering in a new generation because of the love and support and compassion that they showed. So thank you to every single person who came before us. And thank you to the people who went through hard times so we could thrive.
Thank you so much. And congratulations on your win for the 2021 Trans Activist of the Year. We love you. We are so grateful for what you're doing in our community. And I'm very personally grateful to know you in real life before the fame. So thank you, Mercury. I'm really excited to continue this journey with you and see what comes ahead for you.
Right. Thank you.
Thank you.
On behalf of UW Health, we would like to congratulate all the award winners of tonight. UW Health is proud to support the work of OutReach. Thank you, OutReach, for all you do day in and day out to support our LGBTQ+ community. And again, congratulations, award winners.
Hi, my name is Jillip Negler, and I am the board president of OutReach. And I'm here with Annie, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, my name is Annie Bruns. I am the mental health therapist at the Rape Crisis Center. I use she, her pronouns.
And how are you related to OutReach?
So I am one of the people that's going to be facilitating a queer and trans survivors of sexual violence group coming up here at the end of October.
Great.
With some folks from OutReach.
Thanks, Annie. Sunshine, do you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, everyone. My name is Sunshine Rainbow. My pronouns are she, her, they, them, queen, and goddess. I'm an activist, poet, artist, and drag queen. I'm from Milwaukee, but I'm currently living in Madison, Wisconsin. And the way I am involved with OutReach is I'm part of MATA, Madison Area Trans Association, and I am one of the people on the leadership team, and I am an admin of the Facebook group that we have.
Thank you so much for joining us today, Sunshine and Annie. It's so great for you to be here. So Annie, what is Queer Survivors and how did it come about?
Yeah, so Queer Survivors, Rape Crisis Center historically has had support groups in the past, but it's kind of been a while. And when we were talking about trying to get those started again, we realized that there aren't any queer or trans support groups for folks who are victims or survivors of sexual violence. And, we wanted to create a space that was for queer and trans folks and that was also facilitated by queer and trans folks. So we, got in contact with OutReach, and it seemed like a really great way for the two organizations to work together.
That's great. Can you tell us a little bit more about how the group is structured, how someone can join?
Yeah, so the biggest thing is that we're planning to start, it's going to be Tuesday evenings at 6 o'clock. It's all going to be virtual for now. I think that'll be a question we sort of pose to the group moving forward, depending on how things are going. And so our first one will be October 26th, I believe, at 6 p.m. And the best way to get that info, I know OutReach has sent out information about it, but we'd really like folks to go through our survey, which just has a couple questions about what people are looking for, how they can best be kept safe in that space, things like that. So I know OutReach has sent out some of that info, but also RCC's Facebook page and our Instagram, Rape Crisis Dane. If you go to our link tree, it's like the first or second thing that'll take you to the survey. And the plan is to meet once a month, and it's really just a space for resource sharing, processing, community building. And one of the other really big things that's important to us is that, and part of the reason that there's front end survey is we want to make sure that we're offering and doing the things that people are looking for and that they're wanting. We really want to be able to tailor it to the group as opposed to come in and say, this is what we're doing. We want the participants to be able to have a really active role in creating the group.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely necessary for it to be collaborative because not every person is the same. None of our experiences are a monolith, and everyone comes with their own place, whether that's still in the victim or survivor, however people want to self-describe.
Absolutely.
I'm super excited for it personally,
Yeah.
and so glad to see something like that being so that we can help support each other in the community and build these partnerships and coalitions, because there just aren't these resources yet.
Right.
And so we're building them, so you can build them with us.
Absolutely.
So Sunshine, what is the MATA leadership group?
So the MATA leadership group is it's a group of trans people who are here in Madison, and we help keep the group MATA flowing well. We help facilitate meetings. We help facilitate conflict that might happen within the group through our Facebook group, And we just like keep the community together. That's how I see MATA. I see MATA as, I see MATA leadership group as a group of people who help keep the community that we have, that we're creating on our Facebook account and our virtual meetings that we have and our meetings that we have in person sometimes. We help keep things flowing smoothly.
Yeah, and I've loved that we're working on some advocacy within MATA leadership team. I know that you have helped offer to create some, to come soon, stickers that can show transgender support. We're working on a petition for local people to sign that has concrete steps to support trans folks, because while we are here to support each other, we really, really need allies to understand the best ways to support, especially considering some of the things locally that have gone down, which we're happy to have Rainbow Sunshine part of our team, because you come from Milwaukee and you are an activist in a lot of areas. So if you want to talk a little bit about that, please feel free to.
So I'm an activist, and for me, like, activism isn't just something I just woke up and decided to do. For me, activism has always been part of my life, being a black person. Like, for me, since the day I was born, I had to decide to be an activist, because I had to make that decision because I realized that the world didn't like me. I realized that the world hated me, and I was like, I can't let the world around me hate me and bring me down. I have to lift myself up and make change in this world so that the world can be a better place for me and people who look like me. I'm not only black, but I'm a trans woman. I'm not only a trans woman, but I am a queer black trans woman. And I'm tired of fighting for my life every day. I'm tired of having to wake up and feel the need to fight for my life. I just want one day to just wake up, walk out of my house, and be free. I want to walk out of my house and be free and be able to live my life without fearing that I might die because of the police, or I might die because someone who hates me. Like, I just want this world to be a better place for me and everybody who look like me. And I'm gonna continue to make this world a better place by not only being an activist, but being a poet and spreading love and kindness and spreading that message of it's okay for you to love yourself, it's okay for you to be kind to yourself, and it's always okay for you to just be you. No matter what society says, it's always okay for you to just be you. And I just want people to remember that it's okay for them to shine their bright light, and to remember that they're a star and they can always shine their bright light.
I love it. I absolutely love it. And it is so necessary. I mean, for trans folks, but also for survivors, like, and the impact of our different aspects of oppression, it makes us doubt ourselves. And that's one thing I really love about what the MATA leadership team has been becoming, is this place where we do love and support each other, and we do encourage each other to explore different ways to be, an advocate, a voice, or just exist peacefully in community. And it's so exciting, especially since there have been some, there's attacks constantly on the trans community. There's attacks constantly on women, on survivors, on queerness, on all of the things. And so it's so important to remember that amongst all that fighting, there's also hope and uplifting, and you're just wonderful. Both of you are so wonderful. And we're also looking at ways to bring in this MATA support group and the social group, and really trying to expand OutReach's trans programming to be that bastion of light, that beacon of hope. Especially considering how vast our trans community is in Madison. We have a large LGBTQ plus community here, which we're fortunate because not every small city like Madison has a robust community. We just have to find each other and fight for each other, because although we're here, we're not always accepted. We're not always, even within our communities, we're not always accepted and loved and appreciated. But just like you said, we all deserve that. And this is, part of why it's so important to address the traumas of survivorship, of victimization, and the intersections of different identities. Do either of you want to talk a little bit about that, about the importance of addressing trauma within our community?
Yeah, I think one of the reasons that we're really excited to be sort of forming and building up this group is, for as inclusive as I think sexual education tries to be, and some of the other programming, that Rape Crisis Center does, we really do want to acknowledge that queer and trans folks have a different experience because of the various intersections of trauma and oppression, and that it looks different. And that I think a lot of times it can feel a lot like those intersections get erased, or that we're not part of these conversations, or this support or this help. And yeah, so it was really just important to have this very specific space in which, led by queer and trans folks, open to anyone who identifies as a victim or survivor of sexual violence who's also queer or trans. Because I think, the biggest thing is that we get left out of those conversations a lot. And we want people to know that we see them, and that we're here.
Did you want to
add? So for me, what comes to mind when it comes to dealing with trauma is, I think about how a person needs to heal. Like, every time, for me, I've dealt with so much trauma in my life, and I don't think I would be the person I am today if I haven't healed, if I didn't deal with the trauma and heal from it. Because for me, as a person who has healed from my trauma, I'm able to help others heal. I'm able to help others heal, and I'm able to help people know that they can get through. They can get through whatever that trauma may be in their life, whether it's a place, person, thing, whatever it is, they can get through it. I just want people to know that they can get through it, and to don't let their trauma or their past hold them down. You can get through it, and you will get through it. For me, I'm finally at this point in my life where I feel like I'm healed. And I feel like I'm healed, and I finally can move forward. I finally can move forward and step into my purpose even more. I've stepped into my purpose a long time ago, but now at my point in my life, I've stepped into my purpose. Like, I decided to quit drinking 9 months ago. And 9 months ago, I was a completely different person than I am today. And 9 months ago, when I was still drinking, I was drinking because I wasn't dealing with my trauma. I wasn't dealing with my pain. And 9 months ago, I decided to quit drinking, and I've dealt with my pain, and I dealt with my trauma, and I got through it. And I just want to remind others that they can get through it, and that they will get through it, and just keep shining your bright. Just keep shining your bright light in this dark world. Like, you got it, and just keep going. Just never give up on yourself. Always follow your dreams, and always believe in yourself. You are somebody, and you're gonna be successful, and you are successful. You're doing a great job.
Yeah, and we all need to hear that for sure. I mean, I know part of why I get involved with outreach and with the MATA leadership team and activism locally is because it is a part of my own healing. You know, it's a part of being able to give to others and to help support people, the people who are like me, when I needed that help, now I can give them that help and support. And yeah, I love it. I love it so much. Why do we need more LGBTQ plus representation in mental health and trans leadership in Madison or in general?
We need more people who represent us, who are us, because young people need to see us. Young people need to see who we are. Young people need to know that we exist and we have always existed. And young people just need to see us being ourselves. And the reason I say young people need to see us being ourselves, because young people are very impressionable. Young people, their minds are still growing. Their minds and bodies are still growing, and they're still figuring out life. And as they see us being ourselves, as they see me being myself, and see me out in the world, making the world a better place, they're just gonna see that and they're gonna be like, oh, I can be like that one day. That's who I am. And like for me growing up, I always knew who I was. I always knew that I was trans. I always knew that I was queer, but I was afraid to be myself because I didn't see that many people in the world being themselves. And now that I am myself, I'm like, no one or anything can stop me from shining my light. No one and anything will dim my bright light. I tried to dim my own bright light a long time ago and it didn't work. My light just got brighter. And my light just got brighter and I never turned it off. And
thank you.
And I wake up every day knowing that me just being myself, I'm changing the world. And my goal in life is to inspire every single person in this world that I interact with. Because I just want, like I said, I just want people to know that it's okay for them to be themselves. And yeah, I'm getting emotional again.
Oh, well, it's personal, right? This is personal stuff for us. You've already talked about how important it is for this to be for us and by us.
Yes.
So in conclusion, to wrap up our conversation, one of the best ways that allies can help is by supporting us. Instead of trying to dictate or run anything, work with us to give us what we need to thrive, to survive, to accelerate, to share what we have with the world, and to be seen by the folks who don't see people who are like them often. I mean, that really resonated with me, what you said, because growing up, representation was not good, was not visible. I mean, I didn't even know, a lot of things about who I was or who I could be, because it just was not something that was even in my periphery. Mm-hmm. And I don't want anyone growing up now to have to experience that. That's so unnecessary. So,
and like another thing is like, I don't want a young black person to have the same fight that I'm having in my life now. Like, I want the young black people who are growing up now, I want this fight to end so that when they get older, they don't have to have the same fight, so that they can just walk out their house and not have to fear for their life. I just want this world to just be a better place for every single person in it. And the way that allies can help with that is allies can show up for us, not just tell us you support us. Don't just tell me, oh, I support you, I care about you. Show me that. You can show me that by coming out to my shows, or coming out to my drag marches, or reaching out to me and asking me how I'm doing, or taking me out to lunch, or whatever that may be. Just helping uplift Black and trans voices and uplift queer voices, that's the way that you can help as an ally. And for me, an ally to me isn't just a person who tells me they support me, but an ally to me is a person who not only tells me, but shows me. Action speaks louder than words.
Mm-hmm.
Actions speak louder than words. You have to show me, not just tell me. I just wanted to recite my poem, I Am Somebody.
Yeah.
Really quick as well.
Did you have anything final to say?
No, I just think I'm so glad that we're having these conversations and that, you know, there is so much support within the community and absolutely that we need allies to show up.
Yeah, if you want to recite your poem real quick.
So I'm going to recite a poem really quick that I wrote a long time ago. And I wrote this to let myself know that I am somebody no matter who I am, and to everyone out there listening, that you are somebody no matter who you are. So here it is. I am somebody. I may be Black, I may be white, but guess what? I am somebody. I am somebody. I may be rich, I may be poor, but guess what? I am somebody. I am somebody. I may be an immigrant, I may be a citizen, but guess what? I am somebody. I am somebody. I may be a man, which I ain't. I may be a woman, which I am, but guess what? I am somebody. I am somebody. I may be gay, which I am. I may be straight, which I ain't, because I tried that once and it didn't work out.
Heard.
I am, I am somebody, and you are somebody. And together, we can succeed in changing the world. That's that piece.
Thank you, Sunshine, and thank you, Annie. This has been wonderful. We really appreciate your support. Thank you.
Standing in the corner on the edge of a burning light. Saw you standing in the corner. Come to me again in the cocoa night. In the cocoa night. You make me feel a little older, like a full-grown woman might. But when you're gonna grow colder, come to me again in the cocoa night. In the cocoa night. I see you walking by my front door. I hear the creaking of the kitchen floor. I don't care what other people say. Yeah, I'm gonna love you anyway. Come to me again in the cocoa night. In the cocoa night. Can't stand it any longer. I need the fuel to make my fire bright. So don't fight it any longer. Come to me again in the cocoa night. In the cocoa night. And I know that you feel it too, where my skin turns into glue. You will know that it's warm inside, and you come right to me in the cocoa night. cold, cold night. In the cold, cold night. Lonely mother gazing out of the window, staring at a son that she just can't touch. If at any time he's in a jam, she'll be by his side, but he doesn't realize he hurts her so much. But all the pain just ain't helping at all. He can't seem to keep himself out of trouble. So he goes out and he makes his money the best way he knows how. Another body land caught in the gutter. Listen to me. Don't go chasing waterfalls. Please stick to the rivers and the lakes that you used to. I know that you're gonna have it your way, you're nothing at all. But I think you're moving too fast. Little Precious has a natural obsession for temptation, but he just can't see. She gives him loving that his body can handle, but all he can say, baby, it's good to me. One day he goes and takes a glimpse in the mirror, but it doesn't recognize his own face. His health is fading and he doesn't know why. The letters took him to his final rest place. Y'all don't hit me. Don't go chasing waterfalls. Please stick to the rivers and the lakes that you used to. I know that you're gonna have it your way, you're nothing at all. But I think you're moving too fast. Come on. I seen the rainbow yesterday, but too many storms have come and gone, leaving a trace of not one God gave away. Is it because my life is 10 shades of gray? I pray you'll fade away, seldom praise him for the sunny day. And like his promise is true, only my faith can endure the many chances I blew to bring my life to a new clear blue and unconditional sky. To grab the tears from my eyes, no more lonely cry. My only bleeding hope is for the folk who can't cope with such an enduring pain that it keeps them in the pouring rain. Who's to blame for tooting cane to your own vein? Or the shame to shoot a name for someone else's brain? You claim the insane and name this day and time for falling prey to crime. I say the system got you victim to your own mind. Dreams and hopeless aspirations and hopes are coming true. Believe in yourself, the rest is up to me and you. Chasing waterfalls, please stick to the rivers and the lakes that you used to. I know that you're gonna have it your way, you're nothing at all. But I think you're moving too fast. Oh, you're moving too fast. Yeah. Oh. I know that you're gonna have it your way, you're nothing at all. But I think you're moving myself, so I'm gonna let it do all the talking. Ooh, ooh. Came across the place in the middle of nowhere with a big black horse and a cherry tree. Ooh, ooh. Let it feel upon my back. He said, don't look back, just keep on walking. Ooh, ooh. Big black horse said, look this way. Say, hey, lady, will you marry me? Ooh, ooh. And I said, no, 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 no. Said, no, no, you're not the one for me. No, 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 no. Said, no, no, you're not the one for me. Well, my heart hit a problem in the early hours, so I stopped it dead for a beat or two. Ooh, ooh, ooh. But I cut some code and I shouldn't have done, and now it won't forgive me after all these years. Ooh, came across a place in the middle of nowhere with a big black horse and a cherry tree. Ooh, ooh. Now I won't come back 'cause he's oh so happy now. I got a whole for the world to see. Yeah. Ooh, and he said no, 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 no. Said no, no, you're not the one for me. No, 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 no. Said no, no, you're not the one for me. Not the one for me. Eh. Woo. Said no, 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 you're not the one for me. Ooh, no, 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 you're not the one for me. Big black horse and a shade tree. Can't quite get that 'cause my heart's forsaken me. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Big black horse and a cherry tree. I can't quite get there 'cause my heart's forsaken me.
Thank you for your continued support of OutReach. As you know, OutReach's mission is a commitment to equity and quality of life for all LGBTQ+ people through community building, health and human services, and economic, social, and racial justice advocacy. In order to continue to do our work, we count on viewers like you who can support us monetarily or volunteering or by sharing our events, fundraise for us, anything that you want to do to help us. The easiest way is to go to www.outreachmadisonlgbt.org/donate to make a cash, credit, check, PayPal, whatever donation today. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Brian Malana Ponce, and I am the Outreach Media and IT Manager. I'm here today with Faith Farrington and Shelley Hanson-Blake. We're going to be talking about the LGBTQ 50+ Alliance. I identify as he, him, and I identify as a queer gay man. So I'm going to take it over to Faye, and Faye can speak about who she is and what she does, what she's been doing.
Excuse me, darn. I'm Faye Farrington, and my pronouns are she, her, and identify as lesbian. And I've been associated with the 50 plus and with the forerunner of that for 10, 15 years or so.
Shelley?
Hi, I'm Shelley Hanson-Blake. My pronouns are she, hers, and I'm a lesbian and have recently retired about in the last 2 years from a career in human services. And as I was looking for things to do in my next chapter, I came across the LGBT 50 Plus Alliance, and I started getting involved in that group at that point in time. And so I'm a relative newcomer compared to Faye and some of the others, so I'm looking forward to where things go over the next years.
So OutReach and the Madison Senior Center both run this program, but they have a structure and a board themselves for which Faye and Shelley have been involved with. Faye, why don't you talk about how you got involved, or the history of how it all kind of started and transitioned?
Okay, well, the start probably was about 20 years ago, but to cover those first 6 or 8 years rapidly, mostly it was just dinners that were held at the Senior Center, and we had meetings at OutReach, but mostly it was just dinners that they put on. So that moves us up about 7, 8 years, and at that point I became involved, I think in spring of 2010. I helped someone with facilitate a discussion group for the elderly LGBTQ. Mm-hmm. And then he went on to teaching and other things, so I decided that I should name the group Gay and Gray, and off we went, and we met ever since on the second and fourth Thursdays of the month for 2 hours at 2 p.m. And I've gotten a lot more out of it than I think that I've given. I mean, there've been some wonderful people in the group. Mm-hmm. And we discuss everything, whatever inclination one has emotionally or intellectually. Sometimes we just have a blast and are silly. So,
mm-hmm.
you know.
And how did that transition to the bigger, because the forerunner to the 50 Plus Alliance is the LGBT Senior Alliance. So how did it go to that?
Oh, I neglected to mention that concurrent with my initiating the Gay and Gray, the Larry Nealon and Carolyn Warner were starting these to broaden the mission of the Senior Alliance, because it had already been named the Senior Alliance, but nothing much had been doing. And so they decided to broaden that mission, and then I came in as a volunteer after they started that. And we had, throughout that period of time then, for that period of about 10 years, we had quarterly socials for the LGBTQ community, which included music and lectures and movies and dinners with every social. We had various activities. We had one huge yard sale once that,
I remember
that we made out really well, but some few people almost died just getting it going. But basically there were other activities. There were some field trips, but basically that's kind of what we did for about 10 years, and then we had a new personnel came in at the Senior Center, and she and Steve got together, and out of that came just before they got together, we decided to call ourselves 50 Plus, not the Senior Alliance, because there's more than one generation of seniors. There's the young ones, and so anyway, then we got together with them, and out of that came 50 Plus.
Right.
So,
Right. And which leads us to Shelley. So you're involved with the current incarnation of the group.
Right.
And I think that's interesting. I'll have you talk about what you all do and the different things. But I think it's interesting is that a lot of times with people with just the LGBT community in general, they want to like contain us in certain groups, but there's like a variety of us of different age brackets, of different races, of different classes. And so like even with like the seniors or the 50 plus, there's a varying degree of generations in that, and people just want to kind of lump it together. And I think it's very unique and interesting that it's evolved into this. So
Right, and we've done things that are of interest to a wide range of people within our group. Recently, we've started to open up a little bit more. Most of the time I've been involved, we've had to deal with the pandemic. So that's put a different spin on how we've been able to interact with each other. A lot of it's been virtual, but recently we've been able to do some outdoor activities. So we took in one of the concerts at the Olbrich Beer Garden, and that was a lot of fun. And then we were able to do a kayaking trip, and we had a pontoon trip scheduled for, I think it was last week, and the 1, 2 or 3 hour period within 2 weeks that it rained, that was when our trip was scheduled. So we brought all the food that one of our members lovingly prepared herself. We brought it all over to OutReach, and we were able to have an indoor pontoon ride and had a great time. So we're very adaptable. And we're now starting to do a mix of virtual and some in-person activities with our Gay, Gray, and Beyond, our current events. We're starting to figure out how to do our spirituality group in person again. We've got some mindfulness yoga that we do. So we're trying to figure out a mix now of virtual and in-person events. We're trying to figure out at what point we might be able to start reactivating some of our quarterly activities. That'll be probably next year sometime, we're hoping. But that'll be our future.
The socials.
The socials, yes, that Faye was talking about. Those were very well attended, and they were a variety. So if you didn't like one thing, wait 3 months, you're probably going to find something that interests you. So that's what we're looking forward to is our future and when we're able to open up more. But we've been able to figure out how to stay connected with each other, even when we've needed to look at our virtual activities, and we've done that, I think, quite well with a core group of people. Christy, who's not able to be here today, is our new staff online at OutReach. So she's been able to kind of reconnect to some people, and other than that, we're a volunteer group that there's a core of us who put in time. We're trying to get some new blood, I guess, and some of our committees and our steering groups and our core of people that are kind of trying to reinvigorate some of our activities and our interests. But right now we're trying to focus on how we can get more people involved again as we're trying to open up. And we have seen more attendance at some of our core groups. Our Gay, Gray, and Beyond group has seen almost doubling in our attendance over the recent couple of weeks.
You know, Shelley, I forgot to mention the spirituality group formed in 2014. So that has been going on for a long time and was really disrupted by the virus, because that involved demonstrations and things like that, whereas so that was really interrupted. But Gay, Gray, and Beyond was just discussion, so we were able to continue. But spirituality's back now.
Yes, they've been able to start meeting again, I think, over the last month or so.
Yeah, I think they've had 3 meetings or two or three meetings since then, So one of the things that during the course of the last year and a half, we all felt some type of isolation, but we found through outreach, just by calling in or just communication with the groups trying to exist during that time frame, that the isolation was felt deeply by the senior community or the 50+ community. I don't know if you can speak to that, about what you may have felt or what you think of the other group members would have felt, and how important these groups are now for people that are in a state where they're trying to find community in a space where they're also feeling very concerned about the virus itself.
Well, we, with Gay, Gray, and Beyond, we still, and as I say, the spirituality group is back, but what we've been doing, we are now meeting in the traditional place where we've met, which is the senior center. And we distance ourselves and wear masks. We had hoped to get beyond that, but the whole population has hoped to get beyond that. But we had a couple of exciting things with people who could tune in to the Zoom meetings, and we had this one woman who she was from Missouri.
She was from Missouri, intending to move to Madison to live with or be near family here. And so that opened up opportunities for people to get to know, future friends from afar. That was exciting.
Yeah, and then she dropped in. She's going to be back shortly.
Well, one thing we did forget to mention, Faye, is our coffee hour.
Oh, yes.
Which we did try to keep going virtually during the pandemic time, but we have been able to reinvigorate that in person. And right now we're trying to hold it at coffee shops once a month that have outside seating. As it gets too cold, we'll try to, be in a inside coffee shop that has the ability to social distance.
Well, Tom's group too, we forgot to
and
mention.
The current events,
Tom,
right?
Meets once a month. Tom Rupp's once a month with the current events discussion group. And I don't know, I've been fortunate in that to have all of these, I really have found these Zoom meetings important. I don't like Zoom very much.
I think we're all there. I think we're kind of like zoomed out.
Yeah, we've tried to be in contact with some of the members who weren't as comfortable with the Zoom format initially, to try to get them, to be involved that way, so that they maybe didn't feel as isolated. But there were a few people who just didn't find that format to fit and work for them. But we're trying to get back in touch with some of the members that we didn't hear from for a while, now that we're getting back to some in-person.
And I think it's very important, because the senior and the 50+ community, for the LGBTQ community, there is a lot of, as I spoke before, there's a lot of isolationism, but there's also where they're not always quick to latch onto the newest tech that's out there.
Right.
And so for them not to have any kind of connection, making sure that they're there still so you know that you're out there for them. I think that's very important.
Well, I thought of a couple things. I wanted to mention the reason that we meet at the senior center. We could meet at Outreach just for GG&B just as easily, but when the senior center was formed, it was a coalition between the director of the senior center and the then director of Outreach, Steve's predecessor. And the idea was that we should have what are you doing at the senior center for the LGBTQ community? And they were doing Zilch. And that has become an issue of, we are now visible there twice a month. And there's no issue, there's a sign, Gay, Gray, and Beyond, go upstairs, whatnot.
And that was why we meet there.
And it's evident on their website and on their regular newsletter they send out. All of the gay, the gay and gray, and then the different events that the 50 Plus Alliance is doing. And I think that's very important to the seniors, especially the LGBTQ seniors, to see that they're visible, people care, and that there is a place for them.
Right, and that's maybe one of the first points of contact, like you said, for a senior who is feeling isolated, would be the senior center. And if you're a gay senior citizen that might be looking for a home, that might be one of the first places they feel comfortable reaching out, and they can see that there are activities and there are people there, as well as outreach, where if you're a senior citizen or 50 plus that's looking for some contact, they go to outreach, you're going to be able to direct them to us, or at the senior center, they'll be able to direct them, but they'll feel more comfortable seeing that there is a visible presence at the senior center, as well as all the other activities at the senior center that they can certainly participate in, along with anybody else. So
we have a challenge. You folks more or less are taking 50 plus forward. I was sort of a transition. But we've long had a challenge of facing the older of the old people because they hid. Yep. I hid. We all hid. There was no legitimacy 50 years ago.
Right.
And now we're trying to reach some of those people who may recall that or may have lived that and don't feel the freedom that we've learned to feel.
Definitely. I come from a generation so when I was small, the AIDS epidemic was very prominent, but I could feel looking back as even then I knew what I was, that for some reason I felt like that would be something that I would have to think about or worry about, but then it made me want to do research more back into how far this all goes back with the LGBT community and different things. And I think it's very important for us to acknowledge our history and to respect the people that came before us, because they fought the battles. Those people like me and people after me could keep having that. So I'm appreciative of things like the 50 Plus Alliance and the Senior Alliance that exist. So that way, as we age, that doesn't mean our lives just stop. It means there's more to come.
Right.
So I guess if you have any more that you want to say?
I think we've probably covered the gamut pretty well.
I think so, pretty much.
Okay, well, so thank you all for attending this part of the segment of the awards. If you want more information on the LGBT 50 Plus Alliance, you can go to www.lgbtoutreach.org and go to the 50 Plus spot, or you can go to LGBT50plusalliance.org. I'm not sure on that, but we will make sure. And then you can just contact Outreach, and we can get you to the right people that you need to get to, so you can attend the groups.
Very good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm James Van Abel, he, him pronouns. I'm a queer and trans person and also a volunteer at the Outreach Community Center. I have the pleasure to speak with Annmarie Preece today. Annmarie is our 2021 Volunteer of the Year Award recipient. During the pandemic, Annmarie was such a pleasure to have at Outreach. Unfortunately, a lot of in-person services had to temporarily end as things moved virtual, but Outreach was so fortunate that Annmarie was able to continue on, even when closed to the public. And of course, it's great being on the other side now with the vaccines and such, but nevertheless, it's been great having you along the whole time. Nominated by Steve Starkey, we are proud to have Annmarie Preece with us. Congratulations, Annmarie.
Oh, thank you.
And welcome.
Thanks so much. Well, as you said, I'm Annmarie Preece, and I am a straight ally, and so my pronouns are she and her, and I'm just thrilled to have been a volunteer with Outreach. Everybody was, everybody just made me feel so welcome and so appreciated, even before this.
Nice. So, what went through your mind when you heard you were nominated for this award?
Steve called me. It was absolutely wonderful. I felt really good. Like I was thinking, kind of it's been the pandemic. I may be like one of the very few volunteers. So I hope we get a lot of volunteers, everyone, so that there's like a heck of a lot of competition next time. Plus, I'm going to train them. So we'll have a fun day working together when I just show you how to do what we do at the front desk.
Nice. So how long have you been involved with Outreach then?
Well, I started with Outreach when I was volunteering. I was looking for when I retired, I was looking for some volunteer opportunities. And like one of them, I went to the Humane Society and signed up there, and that was great. And then I had wanted to work at the Art Museum and be a docent. And I just found out that they like the waiting list is years. Somebody has to die for you to get a slot. And then I interviewed over at LGBT Outreach, and they just made me feel so welcome and just saying, oh, we really want to have you. I felt so welcome. It was like, who cares about the art museum? I want to volunteer at LGBT Outreach.
Nice. I'm glad you've stuck with it for that whole time.
Yeah.
Clearly with all that experience, if you're training volunteers, we know they're all going to be great.
Right. Yeah, I'm a retired nurse, so that kind of helps sometimes too.
Nice. So what's it been like being a volunteer?
I've actually enjoyed it a lot. When we had our everybody's been great. I have to say, like we had from the Riverside Pantry, we had a little pantry, and you just put the call out that, we could use some supplies like shampoo and toothpaste and all that kinds of stuff. So people went to the dollar store, we wanted like small packages because not everybody has a car. A lot of people have to put them in a backpack. So it was like hotel amenities. I had a mess of those I brought them in. I just feel like everybody in this community really helps. And that's been a wonderful, wonderful thing to be part of.
Oh, that's awesome. So can you tell us a little bit what it's like being a volunteer during the pandemic specifically?
Oh, well, I have to say I missed everyone. I had been there for a long time, and it was like, it just made my week. It was kind of like the thing that I did. And so I was on Facebook with Steve, and in Facebook with Wilma, and Facebook with Brian, and I just kept telling them about how I missed them and I wanted to come back. And it was finally, I guess, Steve just bring her in, for God's sakes. So even though we don't have any clients, I actually answer the phone during the staff meetings. So that's been kind of my thing. And the other thing I do is I am the bus pass queen. So I buy bus passes and give them to Wilma's Fund so that, when Mark sees somebody who doesn't have a car, he can just give them a 10-ride bus pass. So that's kind of my thing. I'm bus pass.
Oh, that's awesome. How'd you start getting involved with the bus pass part?
Well, I was just talking to people in Wilma's, just talking to people that call about Wilma's Fund, and like a lot of people, some people have cars and then they need probably gas money or something, but a lot of people didn't, and it was like, well, a bus pass, that would be helpful. Yeah, so.
Have you found that a lot of the calls have kind of changed in nature since the pandemic?
They're sadder. They really are. I just talked to somebody living in their car with 2 kids. It was like, it just kind of breaks my heart. In fact, I was, just talking to my husband the other night and was going like, just write them a check, just help out. And we can't really travel right now with COVID, and then with the carbon, I don't want to travel anymore anyway. So we were saying like, why don't we use the money to help other people? So that's kind of what we're going to do.
That's awesome.
Well, I've been really lucky. Like I said, we have a roof, we have a car, we have food on the table. We're blessed, and when I talk to other people from Wilma's, it's just kind of like, oh my God, not everybody is lucky as us.
Yeah, well, that's, the beautiful part of community, right? It's kind of everyone putting what they have and being able to share what they can.
They do, and I just met such lovely, lovely people. Not a selfish bone in anybody's body. It's been wonderful, really. It's been the joy of my retirement to work for LGBT. It really has.
Yes. So it sounds like you would really recommend for folks to also get involved.
I really think it's important. I think, you know, like I think about how my life would have been if I would have just worked at the art museum. Like I would have met other comfortable people, and it's important that it opened my eyes, and I think that's a good thing for everybody.
Yeah.
I really do.
It sounds like you've got a lot of goals to continue to give your time, maybe find other ways to give. What other goals do you have for 2022?
Well, I want to train a lot of volunteers because I want from now on, I want there to be a lot of competition to get this job, to get this award. A lot of competition, and I think it's really fun. I've enjoyed training people. You know what? I really like movies too. So like every time, most of the people I've trained have been a lot younger than I am, and I just go like, tell me your favorite movie, and so now I have a film club, and so we have. All those recommendations I've recommended for the film club, and it's movies that I would have never have seen, like Upside Down or 1, 2, 3, and it's been great. So I enjoy meeting a lot of young people.
Nice.
And I've always been kind of interested in social justice, so that's a great thing too.
Yeah. Do you want to talk more about that? Some of your interests in social justice?
Well, I have to say. There's been a lot of people in my family are gay, and nobody got thrown out. Nobody had a problem about that. And then you just hear some people that I can't believe somebody would throw out their children, but like it happens, and that's been really sad. So I want to do something about that. And I think. This is a good opportunity, I think, just doing what I do now. But we want to make more financial contributions now that we're not going to travel anymore. So.
Yeah, that's awesome. It seems like you are always kind of giving. You feel like you're able to give a lot to the community. It also sounds like you get a lot out of it, too.
I really do. I really do. You know, when you're working, it's hard to find time to do that. I know when my girl was small, I was like the Brownie leader and the Girl Scout leader, and that actually was really fun too. And I do a lot of stuff for Audubon as well, like a lot of nature causes. So that's kind of the things I want to do, keep working for LGBT and not travel because of the carbon thing. I feel kind of guilty for all the places I've been, actually.
Well, I feel guilty.
It's over now. I mean, what can I do? Yeah.
I don't think you should ever feel guilty for living your life.
Right. But you don't want to be selfish. You don't want to make a lot of things worse for the environment and for the birds and the wildlife.
That is fair.
Yeah.
So and I know you talked about when you're first getting connected to volunteering, you know, Humane Society, kind of looking for art museum. What exactly brought you to OutReach?
Well, as I said, like a lot of people in my family were gay. Mm-hmm. So I've always been interested in people like that because I just think they're just so darn creative that I just enjoy meeting them. I'm trying to think of it's wonderful to spend your life around creative people. It just like opens you up to so many different things. Mm-hmm. And my cousin who is gay told me about one of the wonderful gifts about being gay is that you have two different things in your mind. Like you can be the Disney princess, but you're also the Romeo. I mean, it's just kind of like a wonderful way to say that you have so many different parts of your personality that I think you would make great actors, great artists, just like a lot of gay people do, right? Like Leonardo da Vinci, like all kinds of writers, and so it's exciting to be around people that aren't just white bread. Mm-hmm. And so I have to say I've loved every minute of it. Yeah. So.
Wouldn't that be the power of being out for a lot of folks? When you get that chance to live as your true, authentic self, you get to really bring something out of it, even if it's not the arts, you know, because that might not be for everyone, but just seeing people really shine when they feel like they can be them.
It's wonderful too, and I just think like having that many aspects of your personality is marvelous. I don't know. Me, a white bread straight, but enjoy everyone, being around other people.
That's awesome. Do you have anything else that you want to share?
Just thanks. Thanks for the honor. I think it's been, I'm so happy.
Awesome. Well, thank you.
I just told my husband, like, if I kick the bucket, honey, I want this in my eulogy. And I was Volunteer of the Year.
Well, thank you so much for all you've done for Outreach Community Center, and huge congratulations for this.
Thanks very much.
Hi everybody, it's time for the Organization of the Year Award. Once again, I am Joey Munich. My pronouns are he, him, his. I am on the Outreach Board of Directors. This term, I am the treasurer, and I am really, really thrilled to have you here with me today.
Thank you.
Yeah, we are all thrilled to welcome the Trans Coalition, the Wisconsin Trans Rights Coalition, as our 2021 Organization of the Year. In 2021, right-wing state of Wisconsin legislators introduced several bills attacking transgender youth and transgender rights in general. A coalition led by Fair Wisconsin, Diverse and Resilient, G-Safe, and others formed to oppose these bills through media and lobbying efforts. Outreach has a long relationship with many of these organizations and the coalition. And we've signed on with our support of the coalition, but we honestly haven't had much capacity to do much more than be supporting their active work. And we just really want to say congratulations and welcome. I'm so happy to have you here today on behalf of the coalition. And will you introduce yourself?
Yeah, thank you so much. Sorry, do I look at the camera now? Okay.
Camera's fine.
Okay, sounds good. Apologies. My name is Annmarie Preece. My pronouns are they, them, theirs. I am an organizer with the coalition, and I am one of the freelance activists.
Awesome. Annmarie, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and the work that the coalition has been doing over the past few months?
Yes. So I'm a high schooler. I am 17 years old. And I heard about the anti-trans sports bills that were introduced earlier this year. And Brian Jukums with G-Safe reached out to me asking if I would love to come to any of the meetings. And I said yes, and it's just been a wonderful experience. A bunch of different LGBTQ plus rights organizations and other social justice organizations across the state of Wisconsin wanted to address the impact of these bills and hopefully stop them from becoming law. So they got together and we started having bi-weekly meetings in order to rally support for trans youth. And here we are. We've had 3 rallies at the Wisconsin State Capitol. We have mobilized countless Wisconsinites calling their legislators, showing up and testifying in person, submitting written testimony, and providing support for youth in their community who may be struggling as a result from these attacks. Since then, we've been working on various other topics. We are currently working to prevent the passage of anti-queer bills that would ban talking about gender, sexuality, biological sex, and other controversial topics in K-12 schools because it would make students uncomfortable. The bill would allow parents to remove their students and force school boards to announce whenever these topics are even mentioned. And it's a huge deal because it prevents allyship and it prevents youth from learning how they can show up for their peers. Yep. We are also working to change Wisconsin identity laws to make it easier for transgender and gender expansive people to get accurate and affirming documents such as birth certificates, driver's licenses, and more. And we have worked to stop the proliferation of LGBTQ+ book bans in youth sections across the state.
Fabulous. It's amazing work that you're doing. I'm personally inspired that you are a trans youth and you're somebody who's like experiencing it. You're in the schools right now.
Mhm.
And I think your work in standing up and doing what you're doing is super inspiring to the people who are younger than you, but also the people that are your elders and might be older than you, like myself.
Thank you.
What would you say is your favorite part about being part of the coalition?
Oh, I would definitely have to say meeting all the other wonderful advocates. I have made so many connections and have so many new mentors and icons. Alex Corona, like notably, she's just incredible and a force of nature. She works with the Milwaukee LGBTQ+ Center, and the coalition would not be possible without her, and countless others. And it's been really amazing to see all of the work that people are doing locally, which doesn't get uplifted as much, but is sometimes making the most impact because it is grassroots, and it is more in touch with the needs of all the individuals rather than a larger group. So
fantastic.
That would definitely be it.
Fantastic. Well, as you know, our community was hit really hard during this pandemic.
Yes.
In addition to COVID, there's been quite a rise in injustices and civil rights. What does the Trans Rights Coalition plan to do to assist with the work to fight discrimination that's been impacting our trans youth and their families?
Well, continuing with the work that we're already doing, we are also gearing up for the potential of bans for healthcare, gender affirming healthcare for trans youth. Those bills have been introduced in many other states, and we are always keeping that in the back of our mind and are ready and willing and to mobilize if we need to. We are also looking forward to any other potential bans, anything like that, but we are also looking forward to opportunities not just to defend against attacks, but to advance rights which are not even on anti-trans people's agendas. For instance, we are working with the LGBTQ+ caucus, and we're hoping that their equality package will be passed. And it does include non-discrimination protections for transgender people on the basis of gender identity and expression. And we're hopeful that if we can get these bills passed, then it can open so many doors for the trans and gender expansive community, as well as the LGBTQ+ community in general. We're also working on getting the Equality Act passed in the United States Senate. We are currently organizing a youth panel, and I'm really excited about that. The Equality Act would extremely benefit so many youth, but our voices aren't heard as much because we don't have a vote, so our voices don't seem to matter as much. But hopefully we can convince enough legislators and enough Wisconsinites to call their legislators to enact change. So this isn't just on the back burner of the agenda, but this is at the forefront of what needs to be done.
Well, thank you so much. I just want to say you are an inspiring voice, and having you in this Trans Rights Coalition is really fantastic. I know that what you're doing is so important, especially when you needed to mobilize so quickly in the recent past when bills were introduced. And just knowing that you are there and you have the backs of so many people is really, really inspiring. Is there anything else that you might want to add, or anyone you want to give a shout out to?
Thank you. Just that the fight isn't over. I know like the anti-trans sports bills, they're not in the media as much, but there still is the potential that they could become law. Governor Evers has promised to veto, but we're still waiting for a committee vote. Hopefully it will not happen in the Senate. But there's still so much more work to be done, and so many trans youth are left to pick up the pieces oftentimes without the support, and there's always more ways that you can reach out, get involved with trans-led initiatives, show up to rallies, and donate your time and money if you can. This isn't going to be a one and done thing. This is going to be a fight for decades to come. So to continue with commitment is really important.
Annmarie Preece, thank you so much for being here to accept the Organization of the Year for the Trans Rights Coalition. Congratulations.
Thank you so much, and thank you for all the work you do at OutReach.
You bet.
Hi, Ollie.
Hi. I don't think Frida is going to fall asleep. I think she's just going to join us for this meeting.
Okay. Okay.
So this is Frida.
Hi, Rita. Was it Rita you said?
Frida.
Rita, congratulations and hello, little Rita.
No, it's Frida with an R.
Frida. Farida.
Yeah.
Oh, that's such a cute name. Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So the meeting today or our interview is going to be recorded. So we're free to join us as well. So I'm just going to introduce myself and read a little blurb, and then I have a few questions I'm going to ask you right off the bat.
I'm so excited to do this with you. Thank you for all your work. I'm like, Outreach is an amazing organization. I'm very, very proud to get to do this with you.
Oh, good, good. So is G-Safe, and I hear you do wonderful things, which brings us into the blurb. So I'm Mark. I'm the program director here. My pronouns are he and they. And I have been at Outreach for about 2 years now, and I am meeting today with Ali Muldrow. Am I saying that correct?
You are. I'm Ali Muldrow. My pronouns are she, her, hers.
Great, great. So firstly, congratulations on being the recipient for the Courage Award. You were so involved in the Madison community, in addition to being a wonderful advocate, a spokesperson, a mentor, a professional, and all these things were listed in your nomination. You were nominated by our AOD advocate, Linda Lenski, who works here, who started at the same time as I did. So welcome and congratulations. And what a pleasure it is to be in your presence. So congrats and hello.
Thank you. And it's quite an honor to get to be in your presence as well. I love the work that Outreach does. And I'm so excited to get to encourage our community to support this organization and all the organizations in Wisconsin across the state who are standing up for the LGBTQ community.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, Ali, just can you tell us a little bit about yourself and then the work that you currently do?
Yeah, so I was born and raised in Madison, Wisconsin. So I like to tell people all the time, I was born in 1987. So why education? I know. I tell folks all the time, this is the fight that chose me, not the fight that I chose. And I have worked for the Gay Straight Alliance for Safe Schools for about 8 years now. I am the president of the school board. I'm the parent of a very squawky little baby, as well as 2 other kiddos. And yeah, I'm really honored to receive this award. I'm very grateful for the Courage Award.
Oh, I'm so happy to have you and to have Frida with us as well. A mom again, and I think that's such amazing. So, so what is your favorite part about being a leader in the community, and how do you encourage others to get involved?
What's my favorite part about being a leader in the community?
Yeah.
I think my favorite part about being a leader in the community is working with young people who can see themselves as leaders because they see me as somebody like them. And so I think the first time I ran for school board, you know, one of the most kind of beautiful things that anybody said to me is I had a student who I was teaching in class in Foundations of Leadership. And he said, you know, I never thought like a regular person could run for elected office until I saw you do it.
Wow.
And that, you know, that it really reminded me of like the ways teachers influenced me and influenced my life, and the way that I, you know, looked up to certain people and wanted to be like certain people, and making sure that young people of color, young women of color, young folks who identify as part of the LGBTQ community could see themselves as people who could get elected and people who could make change in their community in relevant and important ways.
You're so right about that. And thank you for sharing that. Ali, representation is so important, you know, and it goes a long way. And just the both of us speaking to each other, but most importantly, all the work that you're doing, I bet you have many, many youth and many individuals that look up to you and say, I want to do something like that one day. This brings me to my next question in regards to the pandemic. So obviously our community was hit really hard. We saw this at Outreach based on the amount of services that have increased in terms of financial assistance. in a way we can move past it and forget it, right? But we can't, because we were impacted so hard and we're a vulnerable population, the LGBTQ plus community. So what do you say to parents and youth and organizations who are still struggling to regain that traction post-pandemic? And how can we remain stable within our community?
I think we have to be incredibly agile. And I think the great thing about being a part of the LGBTQ community is that we come from this long history of folks who were, up against impossible odds and made it anyway, and figured out how to, make something out of nothing, how to make a movement out of the scraps that people were throwing at us, how to create epic displays of self-respect and self-love, how to riot, how to fight back, how to, we come from a legacy of people coming together in the worst of conditions and using and leveraging those conditions to change the world. And so we've got all of history on our side. We are poised for this moment, and there is no wall big enough that we can't tear it down.
Absolutely. I love that. Thank you for sharing that. And that wall gets bigger and bigger, and we keep climbing and knocking it down. So no stopping now, right? So my last question for you is, our youth are so important to our community, but they're so important to future generations in general. Specifically, our trans youth have been a target by the far right, and also people who don't see the importance of LGBTQ plus representation. So how can we continue to support trans individuals, trans families, but most importantly, trans youth, with all the controversy that's happening out here currently in Madison, but also all over the country?
I think I'm so grateful that we are centering our young people, and particularly centering our trans and gender nonconforming young people. I think the first thing to supporting anybody, no matter what, is to listen to them, right? If we want to support the members of our community who identify as trans and gender nonconforming, then we need to be available to hear from our trans youth and our non-binary youth. And when we are listening to our trans youth and our non-binary youth, what they're telling us is that they need resources, they need support, they need housing, they need the basic things that any other human person needs, right? And in addition to that, we need to make sure that we are effective advocates for change, and that we're also combating really dangerous legislature right now here in Wisconsin and across the country. People need to be aware and need to be deeply committed to stopping harmful legislature that further pushes our trans and our non-binary youth to the margins. I think we need to celebrate our shared humanity by making space for young people of all identities to have a place, a seat at the table, and to have their voices heard.
Yeah. And we're all stakeholders too, right? And I think it's important for youth to know that they're the stakeholders in change, especially when it comes to policy change, like you mentioned.
Yeah, I think it's about making sure we are empowering our young people, right? Not leading for our young people, but leading with our young people, and making sure that we're giving our young people the space that they need to be successful and to be heard and to have the resources they need to, address the issues that impact them.
That's right. That's right. Well, thank you so much. It's been such a pleasure. Do you have any takeaways or anything that you want to say to everyone before we close out?
I just want to say thank you so much, OutReach, for, honoring my leadership, and thank you to all the young folks out there who are, engaged in activism and are fighting for a better world. And I also just want to say, because it's the Courage Award, that being brave requires being afraid, right? I'm not brave because I'm never afraid. I am brave because when I'm afraid, I'm not halted by being afraid. But anytime you're scared, you got to kind of think, this is my shot at being courageous.
Yeah, I love that. I love it. That's a good takeaway for me personally too. So I appreciate those words of wisdom. That is amazing. It's been such a pleasure to meet with you and talk with you. Keep up the great work that you're doing. It's so inspiring to many and myself. And thank you so much, and congratulations again.
Thank you so much for having me, and thank you, Outreach. Be well.
Take care. Bye, Frida.
Hi, I'm Steve Starkey. I'm the Executive Director at OutReach LGBTQ Community Center in Madison, Wisconsin. I've been the Executive Director for 15 years. I'm a gay man, and I use he, him, his pronouns. Brian?
My name is Brian Maulana Ponce. I am the Media and IT Manager at OutReach LGBT Community Center. I identify as he, him, they, them. I also identify as a queer gay man.
Wilma?
I am Wilma Flintstone, and I identify as a gay man and transgender. And pronouns, most people just use her, she, girl, hey, you know, kind of whatever. And I am the founder of Wilma's Fund.
So today we wanted to talk about what's happening at OutReach. And one of the main things that has been happening since the pandemic started in March of 2020 is that our Wilma's Fund program has grown exponentially to meet the needs of the people who are homeless and low income and struggling financially because of the pandemic. Wilma's Fund has been around for 10 years, and during that time, our average year budget was $10,000, and we would help about 20 to 25 people a year. In the last year, our budget has been 60 to 70,000, and we've helped more than 150 people with grants and have, you know, a waiting list now of people that are needing help and needing assistance with a variety of things. We help with rent and transportation, security deposits, food, anything that will help people get out of their emergency situation. So, Wilma, would you like to talk a little bit about what's been going on?
Yeah. I started Wilma's Fund in 2011 when I turned 50. And the reason I started Wilma's Fund is because I spent a lot of my adult life homeless, couch surfing, you know, live here for 3 months, there for 2 months. I lived in my truck for 4 months, ate spaghetti for 3 meals a day that whole time, can't stand it now. And I wanted to start Wilma's Fund to help people hopefully not have to deal with the issues that I did. You know, being told no because you made $5 too much, or you made $5 too little, or you don't have the right zip code, you know, you're not in our service area, whatever. And so I wanted to start Wilma's Fund so it would be open to everyone that I identified as LGBT and in that range. And so I started Wilma's Fund, and when I started it, I thought, you know, we'll probably maybe help 5, 10 people a year, you know, and I was thinking that's about what it would be. And now 10 years later, it's given out $175,000 and helped over 350 people. And I'm just amazed that my little idea to help a few people has helped so many. And the list just gets longer every day, especially because of the pandemic. In 10 years, we've given out over $175,000. and helped over 350 people. I know I'm still. So Mark, the program director at OutReach, he does the Wilma's Funds clients, and I was over there the other day, and he's got a stack about like this of applications of people that are asking for help. So if you can, $5, doesn't matter how much or how little, every penny counts. So if you could make a donation specifically to Wilma's Fund, on behalf of my clients, greatly appreciate it. And thank you.
Can you mention your concerns about the homeless shelter program in Dane County, and one of the reasons that, you felt like LGBTQ people and especially trans people?
Yeah, because there was no money for them. Basically, the only real homeless shelter provider is Porchlight and the Salvation Army. And Salvation Army generally only does families and single people. And, because of their religious beliefs for a long time, that was an issue. I worked at the Salvation Army in Dane County for 10 years. They do help LGBT people. It's just that their funding is extremely limited because all of their donors are very religious and specifically say, do not help any gay people with my money. So that was the motivation in starting that, was to have an option for people to get money, to get help. And it was rent assistance, security deposit assistance, emergency housing. We've done phone bills, gas cards, bus passes, utility bills, a house payment, which I suppose would fall under rent assistance. We've gotten bikes for people. We helped a young man immigrate from Pakistan, and he is doing very, very well today. Salman, I'm very proud of you. And many transgender people, some of them, it was just to get them some makeup and stuff, so they could look and feel better about themselves. And whatever people need, prescription copays, pretty much whatever people need. Just if you can help at all, it's greatly appreciated.
Brian, would you like to talk about the calendar directory and our newsletter, how we're communicating with people during the COVID period?
So when COVID started, OutReach was trying to find different ways that we could be more communicative with people. Our calendar had to cease doing printed calendars because there were places that were no longer open. So that was an issue. So we had to figure out how we were going to do that. And directories, that was the other issue. It's like we couldn't even put, the directories, the physical copies we have go like that really fast as soon as we put them in. So we were trying to figure out different ways that we could reach the community still, but also keep them informed and find a safe way for them to do that. So most everything has been transitioned to our online online services. So the calendar is at www.lgbtoutreach.org, and you can go to services, and calendar is one of them. The directory is being redone as an online source, so we're going to be doing, so that's www.lgbtdirectory.org. And we'll be looking for different price points, we'll be looking for different and current advertisers, and hopefully we get people on board so we can get the information out there of not only just Wilma's Fund, but other groups and services that OutReach provides.
Can you also mention our social media pages, all of the social media sites and web pages that we're able to communicate with people?
So as we expand into the future, we started adding social media to our services. One of the things we have is a Facebook page, which is, I believe, is www.facebook.com/LGBTOutreach. We do a lot of communication there. We also have a group page where it acts more like a community board. So if people have things going on in the community, they can place it there. That's the OutReach LGBTQ group. We also have an Instagram page, and our YouTube page is starting to go up, starting to get more subscribers. If any of these services can be found on our current website, which is www.lgbtoutreach.org. We also have a Twitter page, and we are looking into starting TikTok.
So another change that we are beginning to work on at OutReach is we've had a library going back several decades, and during the pandemic, of course, OutReach was closed for almost a year and a half. And so during that time, obviously, nobody was using the library. The library has gotten kind of less and less use, and we have currently about 4,000 books. And so one thing we're planning to do is to downsize our library considerably so that there's more space in our main foyer area, and we're planning to expand our cyber center. So we currently have a cyber center with 3 computers, but they're all kind of together on one small desk, and so it doesn't give the people who are using the computers, public computers, very much space to work, and so
privacy.
Or privacy. So the David Bonnet Foundation that has been providing us with our cyber center for the last decade or more.
A little bit more, yeah.
It is going to provide us with money to buy some library carols, and that will give people a workstation that they can work at that will have more space and privacy. We will use we just got new computers from David Bonnet Foundation in the spring, and a new printer, so we have the equipment, but David Bonnet Foundation is giving us money for the technology, for the IT equipment, for the furniture and chairs that will give us a cyber center that is much more useful and friendly to the clients that come and use our drop-in space at OutReach. Brian, would you like to talk about the policy changes that we've had since we reopened about a month ago?
Yes, so we are following guidelines that the Dane County has set forth for us. So people have to wear a mask when they're in the center. We also have asked that they use good hygiene. And that if they're going to need to see one of our advocates or any of the staff members, that they make an appointment ahead of time.
And how is that going so far?
So far, it seems to be working. Some of the groups are doing hybrid Zoom meetings and in-person meetings. Some are doing in-person meetings, and it's fluctuating here and there. But there are some groups that are doing better than others. But we feel that people just need to find their own comfortability when it comes to being out in the public still, because of all the safety concerns with the COVID issues.
So another change that we have at OutReach is that we currently have 2 suites. One of them is the staff offices and library and foyer, and the other is our conference suite, which is a kitchen, small conference room, and large conference room. We have the ability and have purchased or rented 1,000 square feet of additional space, and that's partly because we're growing. We have a larger staff, and some of our staff members were sharing offices, kind of in close quarters, and part of that is a health concern with COVID, but also, crosstalk and noise, kind of people disturbing other people's work. And so we were able to get 4 new offices, another small break room, a large conference area, and a large storeroom. And that's really important because we had no storage in our old space. We had a couple of tiny closets that were not at all adequate. So we're planning on working on that over the next couple of months. We hope by January 1st that we will have the new space fully functional and people will have moved into our new offices, and we will have better facilities for the staff and also for more options for clients and groups to use when they come to use the center. We have just recently purchased a new large screen TV for our new conference room area.
And a lot of that is possible because of donations and different things that people have done for us over the course of the year during COVID. It's been a struggle for a lot of places, and for us to be able, we were one of the few LGBT centers in the country that's been able to stay open just because of the donations and the people helping out. There's not a lot of things out there originally, but now that people have realized just how much help that's needed for this particular part of the community with LGBTQ, people have been donating, asking how they can help, donating to Wilma's Fund, doing different things. So it's important that we keep doing the work that we're doing because there is a lot of isolation in several parts of our community. So it's important that we have the additional space, the TV, the carols, Wilma's Fund, all the other programming that we do, so that way people have places to go, even if it's just calling us on the phone versus coming in.
Yeah, I wanted to mention that we've had some really generous donations. The Boys and Girls Club helped us with $10,000 for Wilma's Fund when the pandemic first started. So that was a real boost when there were a lot of asks in the beginning. We also have gotten a $50,000 grant from UW Health, Unity, and Quartz in 2020 and in 2021. The City of Madison gave us an extra $30,000 for Wilma's Fund for COVID relief grants, and we've just recently received an extra $50,000 from Dane County, which would cover kind of all four of our major programs: our AODA program, our senior services program, our transgender services program, and Wilma's Fund. So without an outpouring of support from these various entities, we would not be able to have all of the additional stuff for our clients and for the community. So we really thank all of those organizations and also many other individual donors and people who have been very generous over the last year and a half.
So to donate, you should go to www.lgbt.outreach.org, and there is a big purple button that says donate. Click on that, and it'll give you to several different things that you can donate to. There's the main donation button, then there's the different groups and the different programs that we have, like Wilma's Fund, the different events that we have, like the awards banquet or the awards celebration, Pride, the LGBT 50+ Alliance, different things like that.
Okay.
Anything else?
Well, thanks for interviewing today.
Yeah, no problem.
Thanks for being here, Wilma, and talking about the important program that you started and have continued to support. Thank you so much for attending Outreach's 29th Annual Awards celebration tonight. Thanks to Hinckley Productions for producing our video presentation. Thanks to Outreach's board member, Dana Pelabon, for directing the video. Our staff member, Brian Ponce, for his technical support. Thanks to our our major corporate sponsors, especially the diamond sponsors, UW Health, Unity and Quartz, American Family Insurance, and MG&E. Thanks to the many volunteers, board members, and staff members that contributed to our program today. Congratulations to our award winners, and thank you for the incredible work you do for our community. Outreach's mission is a commitment to equity and quality of life for LGBTQ+ people through community building, health and human services, and economic, social, and racial justice advocacy. Thank you for continuing your support of our mission. We hope you will join us again next year.